Good evening, welcome back, and welcome to our second game of the evening. We're going to see VirtusPro twice in a row. So we're going to see VirtusPro first taking on the victor of our previous game, Insane Gaming, or Q Cyber Insane Gaming, I maybe should call them. And afterwards, they're going to face Power Rangers. So those are going to be our two matchups that we're still going to have tonight. And of course, I will not be alone for those two. This time, I am joined by G-Advance again. Welcome back.
Yep, sup, good to be back. Sorry I was unable to miss the first game, but Pimp seems to have done a pretty good job. I'm excited for this game here, because the thing about VirtusPro is I'm interested in every VirtusPro game, because I want to see... I love seeing the difference.
The progression.
Yeah, the like, difference in each day, like, they play. They're completely different teams some days, and it's very interesting, so I think... Even though, I mean, you look initially at the side of VirtusPro and you go, oh, that's scary to go up against because there are a fair number of famous players. Whereas Insane, I mean, they've got people that most people should know to an extent, but not on the same level as VirtusPro. I still feel like Insane should have a pretty good chance in this game. Unless VirtusPro are playing their We Can Beat Alliance style again.
Yeah, you are completely right. They were a bit of a hit and miss team, and they are working on it. They said like, okay, we know we are right now not performing, so we're working on trying to find our own playstyle and the right playstyle for us. And it's exciting to see because, yeah, sometimes they do incredibly well and insanely good coordination, and when everything fits, you know, then it's like magic, but if nothing fits, then they kind of fall apart completely. So it's very interesting to see their journey over the times, and these best of one games for them, of course, as well, are of course great games to just practice. I mean, they're still important games because it is, of course, an official tournament, so your opponent team has to try hard. But on top of that, it is not Dream League. It is not.
The prize pool's pretty big, though.
The prize pool
I wouldn't want to miss out on this one if I was
well.
them. Yeah, LAN finals
in
prize
Moscow.
pool,
Why aren't we invited? The hell?
Dude, I want to go to Moscow. That would be sick.
It's the LAN finals. It doesn't matter where it is. I want to be there.
Yeah, I actually want to go to a LAN finals, but on the other hand, like, I have a bet with my friends. They said, like, they were taking the mick out of me being a caster.
Okay.
And I said, you're not allowed to take the mick out of me anymore if I go to a LAN finals. They were like, okay, but you have to do a cosplay of Drow Ranger with the cat set. You know, the one with the cat ears and stuff. So I said I'd do it. I'll do it as well.
Okay.
If I ever go to a LAN as a caster.
As a caster. That's mandatory because otherwise, you know, you can just go somewhere. Because I've never been to a LAN as a caster. I've only been there as an interviewer. That's all.
Yeah, but that's still pretty cool. And you don't have to dress up as Drow Ranger with cat ears.
That's true. I'm very happy for that. Yes. I'm definitely grateful for that. Let's take a look at what the teams are playing. So far, nothing really surprising, apart from a second pick Darkseer, which is a hero that we don't see that often anymore, especially not picked up second. We did have the Ember again. I mean, sometimes ignored, sometimes first pick. We see that all the time. This time, first pick, previous game, ignored. VirtusPro do prioritize that, as we saw that yesterday, actually. A Batrider and Centaur and Bane, three heroes that are actually very awesome. We've got two heroes that build a Blink Dagger by default, Centaur as well as Batrider. We've got the Bane Centaur combination that we also saw in the previous game that can be very deadly for whoever is going to be stuck in the nightmare, and then Centaur comes walking forward and lands a hoof stomp. I like you, Cyber Insane's game, and I mean, they played this combination in the previous game as well, and they went for Centaur as the aggressive trial lane hero for about 30 minutes, and then Centaur was alone after getting first blood.
Alright, okay. I mean, more than anything, I look at this draft already for them, and I just say, they have a lot of stuns. Like, they have a lot of lockdown already, considering this is only the first three heroes. Batrider has a knockback, a long duration stun, or a grab. Centaur has an AoE stun. Bane has two lockdown spells. Nyx Assassin now as well. They have a lot of stuns, two of which are AoE. VirtusPro, on the other hand, they have Darkseer, which is a kind of pseudo stun with the vacuum, but other than that, they don't really have much. They have Ember Spirit, who can bowler people, lock them in place, do a bit of damage over time. Right now, I'm a little bit worried for VirtusPro's lineup, purely because it feels like this lineup is going to take a fair amount of time to come online, and now they pick up a Weaver. It's great physical damage. More than anything else, if you look at them, they have great sustained physical damage. Ember Spirit, once he's got up enough levels with Sleight of Fist, he can keep on doing a lot of damage through this fight. If they start winning it, they're going to be great at chasing people as well. The Weaver is also, again, another great sustained damage hero, not very bursty, but he's great at chasing people down as well. I'm just worried if this Abaddon is enough to keep them alive during this, because right now, Ember, Weaver, both fairly squishy heroes.
Yeah, and Weaver can overall dodge a lot of things, but if Weaver is somehow stunned, well, I don't think he's gonna live very long. That's basically it. It's a scary lineup, I agree. And in the previous game, we saw Big Num on the Nyx Assassin, and he landed some pretty big impales, 3-man impale, saving people left and right, initiating on people left and right. It was a pretty good Nyx Assassin to see, as Storm is our last ban here. I was actually expecting to see a ban on the Lifestealer, because there's still, of course, the option for a Infest Bomb, and I am actually thinking that the Batrider will be in the mid lane this game, with having the Centaur Bane Nyx Assassin going on the top lane for the start, and having the Lifestealer on the safe lane at the beginning of the game. But they are taking their time maybe for the first time, using some of their bonus time.
Apparently they're really comfortable with most of this draft, but the last hero. I could understand the Lifestealer if they decided to pick it up now. That said, it's not a fantastic hero versus Weaver, and as you already mentioned, it is difficult to lock him down initially. Unlike the Ember Spirit, who's, he's slightly easier to lock down. He's not going to go first item Lincoln Sphere. At least that's not very likely. I have seen it happen a few times, actually. But it's not exactly very likely. I don't know. I feel like they might need somebody who can do a bit more damage just from range, from a bit further out. Maybe even something like a Luna or a Mirana. Those would be usable. That said, Luna and Mirana, they both might be a little bit squishy here. Ember Spirit can put out a lot of damage. Yeah, they are actually going to go for that Luna. Somebody who can just outpit a bit more reliable damage. And the last pick for VirtusPro here is actually going to be Axe. I'm interested how they're going to lane this. I guess this is a jungle Axe for them.
Well, they have got multiple options to go for this. I mean, they can jungle the Darkseer, they can go for the Weaver offlane, safe lane, Ember, and put Axe mid, put Weaver mid perhaps. It really depends on who they are expecting mid, although I think it is quite clear that it is the Batrider. And none of the heroes really do very well against the Batrider, maybe apart from Ember. But even he is going to have some troubles against him, rather.
Yeah, it seems like VirtusPro, they're going to run G on the mid lane. He will struggle to an extent with the Batrider, but at the very least, he has got, fairly good escapes once he hits level 6, and he should be able to get a few last hits, but he is going to suffer, I think, in this lane, because that sticky napalm is going to slow down his turn rate. It's going to make it harder for him to last hit, and the whole time is Batrider, of course, a range hero that slows you down. He's going to stick sticky napalm on him, and this Ember Spirit's going to take a fair amount of damage. I mean, he's got bad stats, he's got basically 0 armor. Yeah, he could struggle in this lane. At the very least, their Weaver should be able to get good farm here. The problem is that Q Insane, they can run that aggressive tri-lane again, like they did in the last game, if they do want to.
I think they're going to try. They in the last game, they actually smoked up next to the secret shop and hid there until their opponents Aware actually showed themselves and went for the first
That makes
blood.
A lot of sense with this sort of lineup, actually.
Yeah, because
you have the Centaur who could be off-laner, could be aggressive tri-lane, and you have the Luna who could be safe lane, but could have the supports around her. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So I'm thinking they're going to do the same thing again. VirtusPro could have, of course, seen that. Perhaps they were aware of that. Oh, wow, that was a punny. But I'm not too sure if they have actually seen it. We're going to see it, though. So far, we have got G playing the Ember Spirit, so that's going to be our mid-hero. As while we wait, might as well go over the players who's playing what. G indeed on the Ember Spirit, so we're going to see a mid-Ember, unless someone's going to really swap still. Arsart will play the Darkseer. He'll be on the off lane with Illidan on the Weaver. Safe lane for him. Jotun will be supporting him, and I'm going to assume that the last one is going to be then going into the jungle, indeed, as you mentioned, NS on Axe. They could try to run an aggressive semi-tri lane with an Axe, I think they've done it before, with Weaver on the safe lane, and an Axe, a Darkseer, and an Abaddon on the off lane. Maybe not the Abaddon, but the Axe and a Darkseer on the tri lane, aggressive, could pay off, especially if you put an Iron Shell on the Axe.
it is doable, and it's pretty good versus Luna, because even though she is a range hero, she's a very short range hero, only 330 attack range, which is pretty poor, and her level 1 animation is pretty slow as well, so it's very possible she could get caught out by that sort of gank. That said, it's not even a gank, it's a lane, but that said, if they don't get the kill immediately on it, and maybe even a follow-up kill as well, that lane becomes very unsustainable very quickly. Axe and Darkseer both need a fair amount of levels, and both need some core items as well. The Darkseer, in particular, he needs something like a mech. He also needs a soul ring, because he struggles for mana. He does use up a lot of mana. Axe as well can use up a lot of mana, depending on build, but more than anything, he needs some survivability items, and of course, a Blink Dagger is pretty much core on him every time. I should go over the side of Q Insane right now, since we have the opportunity to. On the side of Q Insane, it is going to be Bignum here. He's picking up the Nyx Assassin. He's the support, along with Obi-Wan Banan, who's going to be on the Bane. Their carry for the team is going to be Inquisitor here. He's on the Luna. Looks like he'll be going solo safe lane here. He's got a lot of tangos, so I think he'll be left on his own. Chomi is going to be on the Centaur Warrunner, the offlaner for the team. And Judo on the Batrider here, probably going to be going into this middle lane.
Yeah, last game it was actually Chomi that was middle and Judo that was on the Centaur. I'm gonna expect them to still turn around this though. Didn't they just switch anyway? I think they just switched because the Chomi was on the Batrider. But Inquisitor...
Yeah, Chomi was on the Batrider at first.
Because Inquisitor is normally the offlaner for the team. But if they run safe solo lanes and aggressive tri lanes, then he is normally the safe solo lane.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense in this situation too anyway, because if it is going to be a solo Darkseer, which I think is what they'll expect in a jungle Axe, I don't think they'll expect the Axe Darkseer dual lane, which is potent, but it's very risky to run. Luna can deal to a certain extent with the Darkseer's Ion Shells, and she will farm against them fairly well as well. She's got good base damage. The supports, I mean... I'm not sure if they're going to go for this safe lane or if they're going to go for the off lane. They might just try and secure her jungle first, though.
It looks like we're going to have a Centaur maybe mid. Centaur against Ember.
I mean, that's a fair matchup for both of them. It's kind of a bit of a wash. The Ember's a little bit behind on base damage, but it shouldn't matter to them too much. They should both basically just farm in that lane. I'm surprised they didn't the Batrider. I think the Batrider would crush the Ember Spirit, but then I guess their Centaur's going to lose his lane a little bit worse.
Yeah, Chomi will be mid, yeah. Well, Centaur versus Ember, it will be interesting to see. It should be going slightly in the favor of the Ember. And there's only 2 tangos on Chomi, so if he doesn't have a decent start in terms of getting a fast bottle, then he might struggle. But we'll see how they go, as we already, I mean, Obi-Wan Banan picked up a smoke in his inventory, so I'm going to assume that they're going to try to gank up in the middle lane. It's not so easy to gank up on the Weaver, of course, even though they do have Sentry, so they could try. But I say Weaver because it looks like Weaver is going to be on the offlane, and Darkseer is actually...
He's going to jungle, maybe?
Yeah,
not even sure.
Looks to be the case with the safe laner for Axe.
Yeah, and an interesting thing, VP, they're changing up these lanes a little bit. I think they're maybe slightly unsure as to what Q Insane can do, because, I mean, we talked about it a little bit, they have a lot of options as far as how they want to lane these heroes. They have dual lane options, they have tri-lane options. The same goes for VP. Although they're a little bit more constrained just because Darkseer and Axe not exactly the fastest junglers, so they basically have to have somebody in the jungle. And G here, I'm pretty convinced he actually thought it was going to be the Batrider in the middle lane, because otherwise there's no reason you'd start off with a magic stick on Ember mid.
This is true.
Not versus a Centaur. I mean, the hero doesn't exactly spam that often.
You would assume
he's more burst focused.
Oh, Nightmare Abaddon is going to be the first target. He does have a shield if he wants to use it on himself. Gets it off, but there's enough damage to take him down. That's going to be your first blood. Obi-Wan Banan with a double damage rune gets the last hit. And I was going to say, like, the Weaver and Abaddon lane, dual lane, off lane, so old school. I say that was only a few months ago. But it's...
It's Goblak school.
It's Goblak school, yeah. So, yeah, it is. And it didn't work. At least first blood still goes away of Q Insane. And Lydon has to be careful.
And... that is one issue that this dual lane combo does have. It's a great dual lane combo once you hit maybe level 3 on both the heroes. Otherwise, their survivability is relatively low. Abaddon, he's a fairly fast hero. He has pretty poor armor though. And the level 1 Aphotic Shield does not last very much time at all, and this Luna Tri-Lane, of course, has way more base damage than it should normally have, because Luna Blessing is an extra 14 damage on top of everybody. That doesn't sound like very much, but with its 3 heroes, it is.
Yeah, Illidan might be in some trouble. No Brains Up coming out. He's not visible right now, and looks to be able to get away just fine, but he will be forced to use his last regen, so that's a self gone.
Yeah, and he only has 2 more Sakuchis left in this lane as well. They do have a clarity between them, but to an extent they'll want that on Jotum. And yeah, this is the issue with this lane. Until they have a couple of levels up, until Sakuchi is until you can use Sakuchi a bit more, until you can use your shield a bit more, you're very vulnerable in this lane. I want to see, though, on this top lane here, it looks like Arsart here is going to be soloing versus Judo, and the jungle is going to actually be the Axe. Axe, possibly a slightly slower jungler, but he's less likely to, he's more likely to die if he goes up versus the Batrider. So smart they put the Darkseer there, who can just surge himself away.
Well, which he just did, because Judo is proving to be a very annoying laner against that Batrider. He's, of course, not really affected by the Iron Show. I mean, the lanes are pushed out, but overall he's not too sad about it, because he'll just fly over them anyway, and he'll get the farm anyway. And look at that, I mean, there's still a Surge, and actually it's Judo now that has to be careful here, because there's an Iron Shell chasing him. Looks to be okay for the moment, though. In the meantime, in the middle lane, G is sitting on 13-4, Chomi on 10-5, so he is slightly behind G. But overall, I have to say it's a lot more even than I thought it was, as, yeah, I was gonna say that's not gonna happen. Bottom lane is so fine for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, part of the thing is that Ember Spirit, he's not actually a very good laning hero. What he does have the advantage in normally is that he can kill a lot of people in solo mid 1v1 situations. For instance, if he goes up versus a Storm Spirit, he can kill him by sort of level 5 maybe even level 4 or earlier, and you can't do that versus a Centaur because the hero is too tanky, although Chomi actually going very aggressive then, but he's just going to bottle up. He did have an Invis rune. It's nice that he, that's a nice thing about this Centaur mid, is he is very good at wave clearing, so he can get himself runes pretty easily, but looks like they're going bottom lane again.
Yeah, nice, Nightmare overtaken over by the Weaver, who will get a shield and gets away in time. He did just have enough mana for Sakushi with the 6 charges that he had, but he's been getting mana burned a lot, so he has to be really, really careful with that. With using too much Sakushis for harassment. He only can use it for escapes, really.
Yeah, he's only got 1 left in him now. If he tries to use it again for anything other than the escape, it's just coming up now, so he just has the mana for it. He does have the stick, and he's going for a straight Aquila in this lane, which I think is smart considering he really needs the mana, but
Axe
yeah,
came
mid
out of the
lane.
jungle. Axe happened, he says it. It is true. And G, of course, with the steering changed, and then Chomi has got nowhere to go.
Yeah, and I was saying about how, Ember Spirit, great for picking off solo kills. He can't normally against a Centaur because he's too tanky, but Axe provides a fair amount of damage. He slows people down with the Battle Hunger by a little bit as well, and makes himself faster. And yeah, they pick off that kill, and looks like they're going to go again, actually.
Well, why not? It worked once, why wouldn't it work again? Maybe the steering changed. There it is. And that should be a kill. The call comes out as well. Chomi has nowhere to go, and will try to do as much damage as he can before dying, but yeah. He is still dead for the 2nd time in a row. It is G that got one of the kills. He is actually quite far ahead now in last hits as well.
Yeah, and that's going to happen where he basically has this free farm time between these fights. And yeah, he was already winning the lane just a little bit for himself. And now I think VP, they need to be a little bit worried, because otherwise they're actually quite reliant on the on Weaver and the Ember Spirit to do damage fairly early. Well, sorry. Their Ember Spirit is doing fine, but he's going to have to pick up the slack a lot, because Weaver, he's struggling, and their Darkseer, he's doing okay for last hits, but Darkseer is a hero that takes a fair amount of time to come online. He's got himself Arcane Boots, and he's still not completely sustainable on mana, and he still needs a mech on top of that, and then he's maybe combat ready, and in fact, the Weaver is just going back to base.
Better yet, he's going back to base in slow motion, because he hasn't used it. Like, if you're going back to base and you're gonna get mana anyway,
I feel like you'd use the Sakushi now, yeah.
Like, seriously,
yeah,
he could have been here ages ago. And he's gonna regen. I actually think that he's gonna be changing lanes, as Abaddon is not scouted out just yet. They don't know he's there. They don't see him at all. So
top lane though. Judo's gonna go on Arsart here.
He's gonna try maybe
Surge
deny
comes
himself
out,
to
but
the creeps, but I don't think he can. Batrider with the kill, and that is gonna be a nice one for him as well. As Weaver comes back bottom, actually. And will get himself healed again. Will take a lot of damage, but healed nonetheless. He's level 4, by the way, so no time lapse. And with Nyx Assassin there could be an Impale coming. And if that happens, he's dead next time. Oh,
G being gone under.
Just in time away from that.
Yeah, they didn't send another attack against him, even though he got up there, but he's even going to find a regen rune as well, so completely wasted time for Obi-Wan Banan, and he has to go back to base, because one of the issues that Bane does have is that he has very high mana cost on his spells, and he just uses a Brain Sap, I think, in that fight, maybe uses a Nightmare to set up the stun, but now G is going to be moving on to this bottom lane here, because he picked up the regen rune, and VirtusPro, this is a nice gank for them because Q and Saint don't know about this. They didn't have a ward that spotted off this. They're gonna go in now.
Yeah, and that's a level 6 Inquisitor. Let's see if he can get his R button off. He's gonna try. Oh my god, he actually gets the Weaver before he dies. Nyx Assassin dies as well. But then again, we knew that they were gonna die. The fact that they actually got the Weaver still before they died is pretty impressive.
Yeah, and this Weaver's struggling a lot. We're almost 8 minutes in. He's like level 4.5 and he's got a medallion. Interesting that he actually went for the medallion. I thought he would just go Aquila just based on his items, but he's relying entirely on defensive support for Jotum, and Jotum actually out-levels him at this point. This is a very sad Weaver. He's just, he's got an okay amount of blast hits considering, but he's not doing well. Not by any stretch.
Not at all. Big Num getting some levels here on the bottom as well. Level 5. Also out-leveling that Weaver. Talk about sad indeed. They will lose their tier 1 tower, or actually they're gonna fight. There is a blink on Judo as well. He blinks in. Impale on 2 coming out from Big Num as well. They're looking for some people. The lasso, that's gonna be the target. It is Axe, and they also take down Jotum. Weaver, of course, is not gonna be able to time-lapse away from anything, and G, he's on the run. But people are chasing him. There's sticky napalms coming out, and this...
He does have remnants, he's okay.
He should be fine. And I was gonna say. Gets an Invis rune as well. He gets lucky on those runes. But that's 5 people rotating. They do save their tower to deny it. That's great. They actually, I would say that's worth rotating 5 people for.
Yeah, that's well worth it at this point. They got a great initiation there as well. Originally, when the first person is TPing in, it looks like it's kind of a, a throwaway, like, there is a Bane TPing in on his own. Like, what are they doing? That's pretty much suicidal, but G going in here. Oh, look at the damage over time.
This is just insane. He will die, or maybe not, and G has got another remnant coming up if he wants to. He can use it. Inquisitor is sticking also low from that Battle Hunger, which NS can use again in 5 seconds. Looks like Inquisitor is going to make it out. One more Battle Hunger? No, not going to happen. And in comes the call. Big Num is going to be the target. Big Num still has some stick charges though, and he's going to be okay. Nobody dead for the moment. Just a lot of harassment. But in the meantime, it is maybe some space created for the top lane. No, nothing done with it. Illidan is actually on the top lane. Look at that. Farming away. Almost getting level 5. Woo!
Yay, good luck, Illidan. Yeah. You need it this game because he has had a bad start. And that's something that's actually pretty uncommon for Illidan. He generally plays pretty early game focused. So seeing him lose out the early game on a carry hero is pretty unusual. Especially one that's pretty good early game, Weaver, he has his issues, but I think they just made a couple too many mistakes in that lane and underestimated the damage that Q and Sane were able to put out. That said, though, VP, their Ember Spirit is doing work for them right now.
He is. He is definitely also being helped a lot by those runes that he keeps getting, but he's 2-0-2.
He is the king of runes.
He's been involved in every single kill that has happened so far. Okay, I almost thought that maybe the same could be said for the Axe, but that's not true. He's been involved in 3. But yeah, he is really doing well, and it doesn't look like they're trying to stop the pressure from coming. They are now with 3 heroes in the middle lane. They don't per se have the best pushing lineup in terms of pushing down towers. But if they try, they do force Q and Saint to stick next to them and to sit behind the tower. And with them knowing that Batrider is still top, they actually would gain a lot from that and could potentially go in if G feels the need to, because he would be the initiator.
Yeah, they can certainly go for something, but at the moment, it seems like VP, you said it, they don't have good push, and really, what you want to do from this sort of situation is try and push from it, but the thing is they don't have the heroes for it. The only hero who's even mildly useful for the push is actually the Abaddon, oddly enough, because he can heal up the creeps and put aphotic shields on them, which is nice for pushing the wave down, but it doesn't make them do that much more damage as far as tower damage is concerned, and yeah, for the moment, they're just going to spread out, try and farm a little bit, and Illidan, he's going to try and split push this top lane. I think this is a smart move, but the smoke gank is coming, and Judo, he has his blink.
there is now a time lapse though for Weaver, so he has got some hope, and he backs off fast enough to be safe for the moment. As,
Smart game sense there.
Bignum could go in with the Vendetta though, I think. He has got the dust as well. They're really waiting for him. Yeah, in comes the Vendetta.
Yeah, Illidan knows.
He knows. Indeed he does. He's sitting behind
the
tower.
He can feel it.
Spider senses tingling.
Yeah, this is... I always think it's great when a player can just sort of tell a gank is going for them. Like, he can just... There's no way, right, that as far as wards or anything, that you would know by, like, looking on the map. Alright, it's purely just game sense and just an understanding of what Q Insane are trying to do. And, you know, obviously, you know, he can look on the map and go, some people are missing, but that happens pretty often. To back specifically at that point, smart move, and now he's getting free last hits again.
Yeah, he's finally starting to catch up, actually. As Chomi is also struggling to get his Blink Dagger. I mean, he has died twice, of course. I mean, 2 of the kills of VirtusPro have been on him. Oh, Batrider, careful there. There's a lot of people. Oh, wow. He blinks away just in time.
Is it going to be just in time, though? G is pretty fast. He might get this. Yeah, Judo.
He's going to try. In comes the Searing Change, and that's going to be Judo dead. Okay, it was not in time. Maybe he just took the wrong path, to be honest.
I mean, to an extent, yeah, he took the wrong path. He went up for the top lane there. Maybe he just wasn't thinking about the fact that Illidan was there, but we were just spending our time talking about it, and they went for a gank on him a few seconds. A mistake there by them, but they lose that and the tower as well.
Illidan,
Bignum might go down too soon.
The Searing Change didn't hit this time. Bignum's still running for it. He doesn't have his Spike Carapace anymore. He does have a Vendetta, though, which he could use. And that is going to be another Blink Dagger ready. This one is on the Axe.
Yeah, and speaking of Blink Daggers, or in this case, missed Blink Daggers, Chomi, in what I would say is a pretty surprise move hit, has picked up a Vitality booster. He's not going Blink. I guess they're just relying entirely on Judo then to initiate.
Yeah, and of course the Stampede. In comes the call though. No,
what a counter.
Up. Now it comes off. Up on 2. Double edge as well. G still stuck in the flames. Still going for it. Judo gets picked up. Illidan though. Oh my god, why are you there? Thinking of him so safe in his with his time lapse off cooldown, but no mana for it. In comes a Stomp, Eclipse as well. Another kill goal in the way of Q Insane. And I have to say, that was just 2 mistakes. 2 right
Yeah,
there.
VP, they looked like they started that fight brilliantly because the Axe came in, counter-initiators on 2. I think maybe he just got bad RNG, although he is fairly squishy at this point because, I mean, he's got nothing other than his base stats and some Tranquil Boots to help him along. And the Axe jumped in, counter-initiated, and then suddenly VP thought, oh, we can keep on going. Apparently they didn't realize that behind the Batrider and the Centaur were 3 other people, and yeah, they kind of run in one by one, going for the kills, and well, G makes it out alive, which is nice, because at this point they're kind of relying on him to get up some Battle Furies, etc. But yeah, they give away free kills that just weren't necessary there, and Illidan not exactly having the best game.
Not at all. We've got 5 people here in the mid lane for VirtusPro, so if they don't get anything out of this rotation, well, then they're gonna be a long way from home. We do have the Batrider sitting up the high ground, I believe. Where is he? No, he was on the other side. Wrong color. He does have his lasso up again in 5 seconds. There's an illusion walking around there as well, but they should be aware because the real one is there as well. Question is, when's Judo gonna go in? He goes in, and he actually... Did he double tap, or did he actually blink away? He blinked away. They were
he blinked away to the side. He just decided against that one. VP, they are very strong and difficult to go into right now. And of course, Abaddon, he can Aphotic Shield on the person who's stunned. And on the Batrider, that'll just immediately break his lasso. It's a lot like Vengeful Spirit Swap. It just immediately breaks it. And I think this is a pretty smart counter for them. It's something very few teams use actually right now as Abaddon. But yeah, in a game like this, it seems like it's a good pickup for them. But VP, I'm still a little bit worried because one thing we haven't even mentioned it, right, is Inquisitor has basically been free farming this entire game. No one's really pressured him. He did lose his tier 1 tower, but he's gone Helm of the Dominator, and it looks like he's going to go straight Manta style afterwards. He's going for the safe Manta build-up with the Ultimate Orb, just because otherwise he has no stat items. But yeah, he's been free farming a fair amount, and no one's dealt with him. He's 2-1-5, which is a pretty good score.
Yeah, I'm also thinking, have we seen a Fiend's Grip this game yet?
We have not seen a Fiend's Grip used at all this game.
Well,
which is a bit odd.
Yeah, and that's also something that could be turning into basically a free kill if you just go for a smoke with someone else with you or something. And especially if you take the Centaur with you, because Centaur overall is one of those mid-game heroes that just wants a lot of kills. He went for the Vanguard, has it complete now. If he still wants to have his Blink Dagger, which I think at some point he still wants to have, then, well, then he's pretty far off. Darkseer, you're in the wrong jungle, but luckily for him, nobody knows that he's there yet. It's daytime though, and now they'll see him.
Now they know.
Things coming off, no stomp yet. In comes an Impale, perhaps by Carapace. That will set up for an Impale, and the Hoof Stomp as well. And the Double Edge coming out. It should be enough to take him down. Nicely done. He is dominating right now, meaning he was at some point 0-2 something, and now he's 4-2 something. Nicely done. Fiend's Grip coming out. They grab Jeek, and they take him down. The Brain Sap is there as well. And that is gonna be still the Fire Remnant out of there, while Obi-Wan Banan tries to run away. Or, yeah, I don't think he can though. He's gonna get chopped soon. Not even needed as Jottam takes him down. Judo on the run will be able to force stuff to the low ground as he picked that up for himself as well. Flame Break there as well, as in comes Chomi. Double Edge does not kill off Illidan though. Illidan will have to time lapse. In comes Big Num. He actually gets called. No time for an Impale. Will go down before he can Impale anything at all. And now Chomi and Judo on the run. Back comes G, gets some revenge, takes down Judo, and it is Chomi that is the last one surviving here in this middle lane. While Inquisitor is like going for the kill, presses R, goes for R start, one more hit needed, Lucent Beam, boom, teleport out, and at least Q Insane gets something out of that.
Yeah, Q Insane, they get a nice pickup on the Darkseer, who has just got his mech now at this point, but yeah, they lose a fair amount there, and oh, NS is actually going again.
Yeah, Brain Sap is still there though, and the Stomp and the Double Edge. Chomi gets himself another kill. Well, Obi-Wan Banan will get taken down by G, but that's actually not too bad of a trade, as there's two people that are in quite some trouble. Big Num, he's already used his Impale. In the meantime, G running away. The Double Edge didn't hit. They actually go for the Stampede. They want to take him down. This Fire Remnant on cooldown for the moment. In comes the lasso again. They should be able to take him down. A Stomp from the low ground will get him, and actually gets the kill for Chomi. Unstoppable for him. It is gonna be his Blink Dagger in 50 gold if he still wants that, which I assume he wants to have still.
Yeah, it's a great item this game, not least of which just because he's on a Centaur, but it's also great because they do probably need another level of initiation on the side of Q Insane, because the big problem for me is that they're Batrider, of course, a brilliant initiation hero, but if they initiate on anybody and they lasso them up that's got an Abaddon behind them, as long as, you know, Jottam's looking at the screen, he's pretty much got an easy use of a Photic Shield there, and their initiation gets completely wasted. NS is useful for counter initiations as well, but the thing for me right now is VP seem to be overstaying their welcome in these fights. They got a good pick-off, they got a good couple of pick-offs in the middle lane, they were pushing for a little bit, and then NS jumped in on like 300 health for initiation on a second person right in front of the base, and he does not have any survivability right now. He's just picked up a Chainmail, which is nice, but I mean, he's got the same HP as the Luna.
Looks like the smoke is not going to be successful. It was a 4-man smoke behind Luna, and Ness actually almost got the initiation going, but he missed the call, so he can't really do anything. Let's see where they're going to go, because they are still partly invisible, but they're going to just go bottom. I would think like at some point teams would go for Roshan. We do of course have the medallion on the Weavers, and VirtusPro also has got the dire advantage, so I think they can take down Roshan already. And with the Luna, I think, and of course Luna and her Lunar Blessing, I think that Q Insane has got a decent lineup to take down the Roshan as well, especially with the Centaur and his Vanguard being able to tank the Roshan up. But no,
yeah, they could have thought about it. They could have thought about going for Roshan then. VP are a little bit weak as far as physical damage is concerned right now. Ember Spirit, of course, is mostly reliant on using his skills, and that doesn't really work versus Roshan. The reason I think Q Insane didn't want to go for that Roshan fight there is Darkseer had just hit level 10, so he's finally picked up the level of Wall of Replica, and even a level 1 Rule of Replica, if you get Vac walled as 5 in the Roche pit, you pretty much lose that team fight every time. NS is going to jump in, he's going to call you all, turn into a helicopter, and you're all going to get chopped.
Yeah, as we have some defense coming up on Q Insane on the bottom lane. There is VirtusPro sitting here with all of their heroes. This is 5 heroes ready for it. In comes the Stampede. They grab NS first. The Stomp is going to be there as well. Can they take him down? The Mechanism will keep him up for a little while longer. The fire, is it enough? Eclipse comes out from the side. It hits on Illidan. Illidan is already dead. Fiend's Grip coming out as well. That is going to be Darkseer picked up. Nightmare saving Abaddon for later, who is Burrow time is already on cooldown. They might not have gotten the Bane, but I don't think it mattered. They got 3. They don't lose a single person, and they also keep their tower up alive for a little while longer. So a brilliant fight from Q Insane. And again, that Weaver, he just didn't get a time to go for a time lapse at all. It's just so sad.
No, he's getting instantly bursted down in these fights, and I feel like saying it again. VP, they're staying in fights that they shouldn't be taking. The big thing for me is that they're still waiting on the Ember Spirit to actually finish his damage item. He's very close to getting his first Battle Fury. If they'd have fought that fight with him having a Battle Fury, he's already got 6 points Sleight of Fist. He's up there as far as XP is concerned, so he's okay for that. He needs to finish that first Battle Fury before they try and take a big team fight like that, because otherwise their damage would have been so much higher then, because Q Insane, they were fairly grouped up in that fight, but it doesn't matter because the Ember Spirit isn't cleaving through everybody, and those overlapping cleaves with the Sleight of Fist does a lot of damage in the fights, but he doesn't have it yet, and VP just going for no reason.
Whoops. Camera work, awesome. Ines dies. Nice engagement. Stampede and Lasso, both cooldowns so short. In the meantime, on the top lane, fight going on as well. Vacuum coming out actually, but an Impale still hits upon G. Is it enough? Can they take him down? He gets himself out with the Fire Remnant. The wall goes up, but the Vacuum is on cooldown. It's just a safety mechanism, I guess. He's still gonna go
I think
for
it's
it,
just
though.
a bad wall. I don't know about that one.
Well,
it wasn't even on top of them right then, and yeah, maybe I don't see why they would go that way though.
Eclipse comes out. It is going to be a teleport attempt out. He will be going down though, but Luna at least is saved. He saved. He doesn't have a teleport.
Oh, he doesn't have TP.
The question is, do they know? I guess they do. Bugs.
They might know.
Bugs. They saw her. Yeah. Hello. Double kill for Jodam. Nice Bugs.
I mean, it's always nice to get kills on an Abaddon. That's not something that happens normally. VP though, they get some nice kills here, and now G is actually going to find Judo in the jungle. This will be a kill for him.
Yeah, and Ness is going to actually try and take the kill from him, but doesn't get it. He didn't try. If he was trying, he could Telling Blade that, but he did not.
Yeah, he just wants to be involved to get, you make sure you get the assist on the board. It's always helpful as far as the extra gold, etc.
I have to say, it's a very back and forth game.
Yeah, definitely. The thing for me right now is that it's very back and forth, but Q Insane just have the more reliable lineup. They have the easier to execute lineup, whereas VP, going late game, they want to try and get a 5-man back wall, and then they want G to Sleight of Fist everybody with Battle Furies and, just cut down everybody. The other heroes on the team, maybe, it's kind of subordinate to that. Axe can help, the Weaver can help, the Abaddon can help, but the thing is that those heroes they're not for a specific reason in this lineup, it feels. Outside of the laning stage, going late, I mean, it's nice to have the Weaver, but he's underfarmed and underleveled, and he's not going to do any damage, basically.
He's a bit sad, for sure. At least he's higher net worth than the Axe, which is something. Axe is doing an okay job. I just fear that an Axe in a jungle, normally, if he doesn't get too much happening in the early game, he's not tanky enough to actually be the tank later on, and we might have a bit of a go on here. The Stomp goes off. It is Illidan that they want. The Impale comes out as well. But that's gonna be it. That's gonna be no further engagement. Too risky. They don't have the vision completely up high ground, even though they do have a ward out there, which they are gonna take down because there's a gem on the Baden.
Yeah, nice pickup for them. That'll give them a little bit more map control eventually. Like you said, NS, he's not survivable enough to be that hardcore tank, that initiator that they really want him to be. That said, I mean, VP, they do have ways of making him more survivable. They have the Aphotic Shield, of course, so as well as obviously the Mist Coils coming out every few seconds, so they should be able to keep him alive, and mostly they're focused on just getting a good initiation. Looks like they're going to smoke up now, though. They know where the Luna is. They know what this is. This is a straight greedy oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be already the Slave Fist. There's only 2 people, though. And so far, Obi-Wan Bannon is the only one to die. Chomi comes in, gets a stomp upon 3, tries to run away. The Lasso grabs NS. Impale coming out on 2 as well. Can they actually take someone down? It doesn't look like it for the moment, as it is Q Insane that has to run for their lives. The Slayer Fist still doing so much damage, and Judo actually going to get picked up by the one swarm that still flies. No, it was actually Axe that gets the last hit with his Battle Hunger, but that's 2 heroes dead. They are also going to pick up the tower. VirtusPro, I mean, you get 2 pickoffs, even though you want to try and take down a Luna. The Luna didn't actually die and still manages to finish off for BKB. So that's a big thing. But at least they don't get a completely wasted smoke. They get the tier 2, they get 2 kills. and they make sure that Q Insane is not farming for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, fairly good for VP. Obviously, they really wanted to get that Luna first, but I feel like VP, they almost surprised themselves. They certainly surprised me with how good that initiation was.
Yeah.
They didn't have any vision
They didn't have
there,
vision.
did they?
No, they
didn't
not.
have vision. So Axe jumps in. They know, obviously,
wait,
kind
did
of
they
where
already
the
have
Luna's
that
going to
one?
be farming. Sorry?
Did they already have the one on the high ground next to the TNT tower?
Yeah, they had that, but... Okay, so they
Then
did
they
know
saw
where she was, but the initiation was perfect from NS. There jumps right on top of the Luna, and one of the things is they only have so many heroes who could follow up on that, right? They basically have Ember Spirit. Everybody else is too slow to get up there instantly and follow up with damage, but it looks like Q Insane, despite losing that fight, their positioning looks like they want to try and take Roche, but they're not committing on anything yet.
This could be scary. Whichever teams get that Roche gets basically high ground go as NS calls Inquisitor. Where's that BKB? There it is. Eclipse comes out as well. NS is already dead. Double Edge for Chomi used as well. Impale hits only on the Abaddon, whose borrowed time heals him up to full again. Fiend's Grip. Fiend's Grip not casted in the end, and Obi-Wan Bana now turns around, goes for Arzad, gets picked up. That was just delay of his own execution. And the rest now of Q Insane getting forced back. The Slayer Fist will jump around, and Judo actually getting locked in place. Will be able to fly up to the high ground. Slayer Fist not enough to kill him off. Illidan, is he actually gonna get a kill? The Vendetta coming out. Big Num, he's gonna try and dodge it, but the Iron Shell. Double kill going the way of Arsart. Might not be 2 big kills. They only kill 2 supports, and they lost the Axe on the side of VirtusPro. But I think they hereby secured Roshan. Or they could go for Roshan. Eclipse, BKB,
yeah, this is definitely the right time to go down for it. And yeah, I mean, VP, they're struggling a little bit for damage in these fights. Obviously, Ember Spirit, he doesn't hit that hard with just a Battle Fury. It's not a great scaling damage item until you get a few more on him, just because of the way the hero works. And yeah, it looks like VP, they say to themselves, we don't actually have the damage to do the Roshan. I mean, they secure map control for it. I feel like they could have gone for that Roche, though. They have Medallion up.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I don't know about that one. They just kind of decide to back off. Either way, the big thing for me is they still can't quite secure these kills. Now they have a bit more damage coming out soon on G. I think they'll be more able to. I guess he's going to go second Battle Fury right now. That's pretty much the standard. If you go 1, you go 2. But, yeah, they're struggling to actually finish off people and pick off people, which is surprising because they have very good chasing heroes, but one of their chasing heroes, the Weaver, is severely underfarmed. This is 28 minutes in, he just has a Lincoln Sphere as well as a Medallion. That sounds nice because you're like, oh, it's fairly okay items on a Weaver, but this is 20 minutes in. You can get that at 18 minutes if you're good enough, and you get a good enough start.
And I mean,
not that Illidan isn't good enough.
He finally is actually on a decent position on the net worth again, so only slightly behind G on his Ember.
Yeah, he's certainly catching up, which is nice for him.
But he still is lacking
they're still well
item.
behind the Luna.
Normally he would want to have also a damage item at this point, which he just does not have. 1900 gold for the Luna. What are you expecting her to get next?
I mean, it's pretty simple as far as choices she's got at this point. She's got her Manta style, her BKB. She can either decide, you know, I'm going to use my BKB, I'm going to stand in the fights, and she'll go for a Satanic. Or if she wants to be, you know, able to do a little bit more damage in the fights, but she isn't going to have basically that second life ability of the Satanic gives you, she could probably go Butterfly as well. That is pretty good, and Sleight of Fist hits can be evaded by Butterfly, so she could think about that, but obviously it doesn't do very much as far as the cleave damage is concerned, because you can't evade cleave damage, so the standard damage from the attack will go through. It's either probably going to be one of those 2 items. I don't see any other reason to pick up, you know, an MKB or anything like that this game.
Oh, jumping in, Stomp as well, and Ness might be in a bit of trouble. In comes the Eclipse as well with that vacuum, the wall. It is Big No that will die as well on the side of Q Insane. Lasso, doesn't matter. That is going to be Jotum standing around there. He is actually, I mean, he has not died for a very long time, and his team is just wrecking things apart while he's actually taking up most of the damage. Inquisitor is going to try to run. I don't think he can, though, and he knows it too. He's just going to stand there, do as much damage as he can, but that's a triple kill for NS, who was the one they initiated on first, or who they tried to kill off first, which was, by the way, a very bad idea, because he is quote-unquote the tank. So that was a bit interesting, but Q Insane don't lose a single hero, while VirtusPro, or do Q Insane lose 4 while VirtusPro loses none? That's the other way around. There you go.
Yeah, a big turnaround for VirtusPro. They're not even going to go for the Roshan here. I guess they're just going to try and do damage to the racks. They might be able to force out a buyback on the Luna. That's a big thing if they can do that. It's going to take a fair amount because the AoE, of course, on Q Insane is pretty good, but if somebody goes in too close, they could get picked off. Then Judo almost did then. That could have been too dangerous, but
if he
VP
died,
actually
they
backing off. I guess they're going to go Roche now.
Yeah, they were just hoping for someone to make a mistake, I guess. Like Judo almost did. If he died, they would have probably gone high ground.
Yeah, Judo was very, very close to being picked off then. He just manages to get far enough back to the point where VP a little bit spooked about it, and apparently Jotum didn't want his ult. He accidentally gets hit first by by Roshan then, so he loses his ult. But yeah, VP, they are finally going to go in for this Roshan, and Q Insane, maybe they can try something, but Judo, you're going to have a hard time getting this Aegis.
He has to try, I guess. He's too late though.
Yeah, he's too far away.
But it's too late, too far away. I like that he tried. It's, you know.
It's always something just to throw out the flame break. At the very least, it's just that little bit of damage that they might not have healed up in the next fight, and that can make a pretty significant difference, especially in a game like this, which is still very, very close. Then, I mean, if you look at the gold graph, it's 7.5k in favor of VP, but the top net worth and the hardest carry this game is still that Luna. I mean, in some ways, Weaver would be able to outcarry her if they're equal farm very, very late, but Weaver is nowhere near her. He's catching up a fair amount, like you said, but he's still not quite on the same level the Luna is right now. And the Luna has a sustainable way of farming as well, because she picked up the Helm and the Dominator. Whereas the Weaver, he farms at pretty much a constant rate, which is pretty average.
Oh, Stomp G, they want to take him down. Does he have some remnants up? He does, of course, have the Aegis, but will be burned. In comes Axe, only gets one with the call, though, but it is the most important one. Luna will be dead before the fight even continues. That means they traded their hard carry for an Aegis. Not worth it, and perhaps they're going to get more as well, as Obi-Wan Baden is getting chased down by Illidan. I think they should be able to get him as well. Yep, there you go. Double kill for him. And the tier 2 tower to boot, why not? That was a bit of a throwy movement from Q Insane.
Yeah, and the big thing there is they committed a lot to initiating up on the person with an Aegis. They threw everything on G. They did manage to take him down, which was great, but he just picked up an Aegis about 30 seconds before. It's not like they'd forgotten. I think that maybe they just thought that G was on his own. Maybe they could get the Aegis, get out of there afterwards, but yeah, they use everything on him, and then the Axe does manage to counter-initiate, and not gonna lie, he got some nice RNG in that fight. Span around a fair amount, and the Blade Mail, he's actually picked up a full heart as well now. So with the Blade Mail and the heart, he just spins around a lot. He's not too concerned about taking damage himself, and yeah, Luna ends up taking a lot there. And she actually bought out the Demon Edge. She decided to go for MKB, I guess, and now she doesn't have buyout, so they're gonna lose this Rax.
Yeah, Blink Lasso, they do grab themselves a Weaver. Fiend Script coming out as well. Do they have enough damage? No, the time lapse is still gonna happen. The Darkseer rolls up as well, the Vacuum as well. Obi-Wan Banon and Jomi just getting chopped to pieces by an S, as it is Inquisitor that dies again. That is GG, as Q Insane will lose their game here against VirtusPro, having a strong start, but not able to continue and to actually ride their advantage out, basically. I have to say, very well played from VirtusPro, though.
Yeah, I gotta agree. This feels more like the Alliance beaters versus VirtusPro. Maybe not quite on that same level, but definitely a little bit more reliable. They seem to be getting more comfortable with their style, even though they're picking up heroes that, I mean, some teams wouldn't rate at all. You know, I mean, who still picks Axe? There's basically nobody picks Axe. Abaddon, Darkseer, very uncommon heroes to pick up. I feel like VP, they just executed that game a little bit better. Q Insane, a couple of small mistakes, like going on the Ember Spirit up in the top there. That cost them a lot because Luna had just bought her Demon Edge as well.
Yep. Well, there's one more game tonight. It looks like we're gonna follow the winners once again. We're gonna follow VirtusPro then, of course, because it is Power Rangers up against VirtusPro for our last match of the evening, and possibly also our highlight of the evening. I think that was the match I was looking forward to most of all. The game start time is in about 30 minutes from now, so we do have a bit of a break until that game starts. Might be that we start a bit earlier, though, depending on if the teams are both ready for it, of course. So stick around, we'll be right back with VirtusPro versus Power Rangers, and you are watching the excellent Moscow Cup. We're in the group stages still, and basically round robin group stage with 11 teams. It's gonna take a while before the rankings start to take shape, so nothing really important to say about that just yet. But stick around, we'll be right back with another game of Dota 2.